Good morning, my dear students. Today we will make a revision. Give reason. A piece of wood float on the water surface while a piece of lead sink. A piece of wood float on the water while a piece of lead sink. Because the density of wood is less than the density of the water, while the density of lead is more than the density of the water. Number 2. Petroleum fires are not put off by water because the density of petrol is less than the density of water. So petrol floats on water surface and water doesn't put out the petrol fire. Number 3. Iron rods, not copper rods, are used in building concrete house because hardness of iron is more than hardness of copper. Because hardness of iron is more than hardness of copper. Number 4. An electrician use a steel screwdriver with a plastic handle because steel iron is very hard and good conductor of electricity, while plastic is a bad conductor of electricity. Number 5. Gold, silver and platinum are used in making jewels because they are chemically poor active or they are inactive metals. Number 6. Potassium and sodium are kept under kerosene surface to prevent their reaction with moist air, or to prevent reaction with oxygen in the moist air, as they are very active metals. To prevent reaction with oxygen in the moist air, atmospheric air or humid air, you can say any of them, moist air, humid air or atmospheric air, they have the same meaning, and they are very active metals. Sodium and potassium are very active metals. Number 7. The odor of perfume spread all over the room when the bottle is opened. The smell of the perfume spread all over the room when the bottle is opened because the molecules of perfume are in continuous motion and they keep the properties of perfume. Number 8. Disappearance of a little amount of table salt when it's put in a beaker containing water. Disappearance of little amount of table salt when it's put in a beaker containing water because molecules of table salt or sugar spread in the intermolecular space among water molecules. Number 9. The volume of a mixture of water and alcohol is less than the sum of their volume before mixing because some molecules of alcohol occupy intermolecular space among water molecules. Number 10. It's easy to divide an amount of water into small cups or into small parts because there are weak attraction force or intermolecular force among water molecules. Number 11. It's difficult to break down a piece of iron with your hand because there are very strong attraction force among iron molecules or solid molecules. Number 12. The atom is electrically neutral because number of positive protons inside the nucleus equal number of negative electrons which revolve around the nucleus. Number 13. Inert gases don't take part in chemical reaction because number 13. Inert gases don't take part in chemical reaction because the outermost energy level of their atoms are completely filled with electrons, because the outermost energy level of their atoms are completely filled with electrons. All of them, they are filled with 8 electrons except the helium, which is saturated by 2 electrons. It has the level K, which is saturated by 2 electrons only. Number 14, the energy level M doesn't take more than 18 electrons, because the energy level are saturated with electrons according to the relation 2n power 2. As we know, the relation 2n power 2 equal, and we are talking about the energy level M, with which is the third energy level, 2n power 2 or 2n square, so equals 2 times 3 power 2, so it will be saturated by 18 electrons. Again, number 14, the energy level M doesn't take more than 18 electrons, because the energy level are saturated with electrons according to the relation 2n power 2. So the number of electrons in this level equal 2 times 3 power 2 equal 18 electrons. Number 15, the fuel inside the car is similar to the food inside the food is similar to the food inside the body, inside the human body, because burning of each of them produce an energy which makes the car move or do work, and living organisms or the human living organism like the human is its vital process, makes its vital process or do work by burning the food. So the car will burn the fuel to get energy, and also the human or the living organism will burn the food to get energy and to do its vital process or to do work. Next page. Ecologists don't appreciate the technological applications, because again, ecologists don't appreciate the technological applications because some of these applications have negative effect on the environment as they cause pollution, because some of these applications have negative effect on the environment. Number 17, the front teeth of hedgehog are extending outward to capture insects. The front teeth of hedgehog are extending outward, give reason to capture insects. Some birds like heron and hippo have long thin beaks, give reason to pick up worm and snail. Some birds have long thin legs like heron and hippo also, because to walk in the existence of shallow water. Number 20, the two front limbs of the dolphin are modified into pedals. The two front limbs in the dolphin are modified into pedals to perform function of swimming and diving. In water. Number 21. Some plants ponce and digest insects. Some plants ponce and digest insects like Dionia, Drosera, and Halophila. Give reason to absorb nitrogenous substance that their bodies need to make protein. To absorb nitrogenous substance from these insects that their bodies need to make protein. Number 22, gold, silver, and platinum are used in making jewels because they are inactive metals or they are poor active metals. Number 23, sodium and potassium are active metals because they react with oxygen as soon as being exposed to humid air. Why they are very active metals? Because they react with oxygen as soon as being exposed to humid air. So they lose their metallic luster. Metallic spare parts of the car are covered with grease to protect them from rust and corrosion. Potassium and sodium are kept under kerosene surface to prevent their reaction with oxygen in the moist air, as they are very active metals. Number 26, the odor of the perfume spread all over the room because molecules of matter or molecules of perfume are in continuous motion in all directions and they keep the properties of matter. Because molecules of perfume are in continuous motion and they keep the properties of matter or the perfume. Number 27, the solid matter has a definite shape. Give reason. Solid matter has a definite shape. We will talk about the solid matter because in solid substance the intermolecular space among their molecules are very narrow or very small or very tiny, and the intermolecular force is very strong. So the molecules are fixed in their positions. Their motion is limited or vibrational motion. Number 28, the liquids take the shape of their container. Now we will talk about the liquid. Because in the liquid, the intermolecular space among its molecules are relatively large, and the intermolecular force among its molecules is weak or relatively weak. So it takes the shape of its container. Number 29, it's difficult to break down a piece of iron with your finger. It's difficult to break a piece of iron with your finger because there are strong attraction force or strong intermolecular force among iron molecules. Number 30, oxygen is an element while sodium chloride is a compound because oxygen is formed of two similar atoms, O2, while sodium chloride is composed or it's formed of two different atoms. And we know, as we studied before, oxygen, it's composed of, or O2, it's composed of two similar atoms. They are two similar oxygen atoms. But sodium chloride, as we know the symbol of sodium Na, and the symbol of chlorine it's Cl. So it's made of sodium atom and the chlorine atom, and they are different atoms, so it is a compound. It's made of two atoms or two elements which are sodium and chlorine, and they are different. So again, oxygen, give reason. Number 30, oxygen is an element while sodium chloride is a compound. Because oxygen molecule is formed of two similar atoms, while sodium chloride is formed of two different atoms which are sodium and chlorine. Number 31, The change of matter by heating from the solid state to liquid state. Because by heating, solid molecules gain thermal energy, so their speed increase, and at the melting point, intermolecular force become weak. So the intermolecular space increase and they become more freely, leading to the change of matter from the solid state into the liquid state. Number 32. The atom is electrically neutral because number of positive protons in the nucleus equal number of negative electrons which revolve around the nucleus. Number 33. The inert gases don't enter in the chemical reaction because the outermost energy level of their atoms are completely filled with electrons. They are completely filled with 8 electrons, except the helium, which is saturated by 2 electrons. It has only the level K, which is saturated by 2 electrons only. Number 34. Running water from waterfalls has a mechanical energy because in the maximum height it has a potential energy, and when it falls down, the potential energy changes gradually into kinetic energy. The potential energy will decrease while kinetic energy will increase, and the mechanical energy is the sum of potential energy and kinetic energy. 35. The fuel inside the car is similar to the food inside the body of the living organism because the car will burn the fuel to get energy and to do work, while the living organism will burn the food also to get energy and to do work, because burning of each of them produce food or fuel, produce an energy that makes the car move and to do work, and the living organism makes its vital process and to do work. Number 36. The weight of an object is difficult from its mass because weight equal mass times gravity. Weight of an object equal mass times acceleration of gravity. Acceleration of Earth gravity, or acceleration of gravity if we are talking in general. Number 37. When a stone is thrown upward, its potential energy increase because its height increase, and the potential energy is directly proportional to the height of an object from the ground, because as we know the rule, potential energy equal weight times height. So when the height increase, the potential energy will increase. There is direct relation between potential energy and the height. So because when its height increase, the potential energy is directly proportional to the height of the object from the ground. 38. Potential energy will be doubled by doubling the height, because potential energy, again the same answer, is directly proportional to the height of an object, where potential energy equal weight times height. Number 39. In the simple pendulum, the kinetic energy of the vibrating body is maximum when it passes its original position during its movement, because at that position or the rest position, the speed of the pendulum is maximum, and the kinetic energy as we know the rule, Kinetic energy equals half times mass times speed or velocity power 2. So because at the position or the rest position, the speed of the pendulum is maximum as kinetic energy equal half times mass times speed power 2. Next, the bike tires gets hot once you press the brakes because by friction mechanical or kinetic energy is changed into heat energy. Number 41, cooking pots are made of aluminium because aluminium is good conductor of heat. 42, a heater is placed at the bottom of the room because when air around the heater is heated, its density decreases, so it rises up to warm the room, while the cold air falls down to be heated again, and so on. Number 43, solar heaters are preferred than gas heaters because solar heaters doesn't pollute the environment and it depends on the sun, which is permanent, clean and a cheap resource of energy. Number 44, the freezer is found at the top of the fridge because when air is cooled, its density increases, so it falls down to cool the food in the refrigerator or the room. When we are talking about the air conditioner, but now we are talking about the refrigerator, so it will cool the food in the refrigerator, and the hot air rises up to be cooled again, and so on. So again, because when air is cooled, its density increases, it falls down to cool the food in the fridge, and the hot air rises up to be cooled again, and so on. Some technological applications have some negative effect. Because some technological applications cause environmental pollution as electromagnetic pollution, noise pollution, chemical pollution of air, water and soil. And when man use technological applications in war and killing, massive destruction. 46. The front teeth of hedgehog are extending outward to capture insects. Number 47. When a zebra meets a donkey, they can't reproduce a fertile individual because zebra and the donkey, they are from different species. Some birds have long beaks to pick up worm and snail, and long thin legs ending with thin toes to walk in the existence of shallow water. Some plant spawns and digest insects to absorb nitrogen substance that their bodies need. Number 50, camel's limb end in a thick flat pad to wander in the hot desert sand. To wander in the hot desert sand. 51. Predatory birds have strong and sharp crooked beaks to tear the prey's flesh. To tear the prey's flesh. 52. Insectivorous plants are autotrophic. They are autotrophic. What is the meaning of autotrophic? Make their own food by photosynthesis process, because they can make their own food, which is carbohydrates, by photosynthesis process. Some animals hibernate in winter To overcome decrease in temperature. To overcome decrease in temperature or low temperature. Some birds migrate in winter. Some birds like wild bird migrate in winter. To search for more lighted and warmer region for reproduction. Some birds like wild bird migrate in winter to search for more lighted and warmer regions for reproduction. Chameleon color itself with dominant color of the environment. The name of this phenomena is camouflage. But why chameleon color itself with the dominant color of environment? To be hidden from its prey of insects, to capture them and feed on them. Number 56. Some desert animals go to starvation. To overcome extreme rise temperature and shortage of water and rain. Bats' limbs are modified into wings to perform function of flying. Thank you, my dear students.